My paratroopers and I got our orders to jump into Normandy today. We'll be the first ones in, the first to fight. The Screaming Eagles won't let our boys on the beach down, and I won't let my men down. In the name of liberty, they fought for their country, their families.
This is Baker Company. We're surrounded.
Their brothers.
Played on the same baseball team, even dated the same broad.
As soldiers, they fought as a squad. As a team, they triumphed. Experience the extraordinary true story of the men who fought against all odds as brothers in arms.
What an operation. The largest amphibious invasion in the history of the planet. Thousands of boats, thousands of planes, hundreds of thousands of men. In this fortification, the Atlantic Wall, months and months of barricading themselves into Europe, erecting concrete and barbed wire and guns to defend these beaches. And just a monumental invasion. Nothing has ever happened before like this, and nothing has happened since.
The D-Day operation was learned more through textbooks, and more recently, Hollywood has been able to recreate the Allied invasion on Normandy through films. But the ability to transport people back to June 6, 1944 has eluded historians until now.
It's a new, history book that's more interactive. You know, you're taking a slice of history and you're putting it into the game, and it's really interesting just because it's very interactive. It's very true to what actually happened.
You play the role of a paratrooper, and on the actual the initial jump into D-Day, and you need to take the town of Carentan and repel the Germans, and fight them all off as best you can.
We can recreate the battlefield exactly as the battlefield was, but the player is the one reliving the battle.
We would be able to be true to the experience, let people be in the boots of these soldiers, and to really be, they don't have a time machine, so we want to be able to let them go back in time and experience what it's like to be a soldier in 1944, and to be in France at that time. What was that like? That's really the question that we were trying to answer while making this game.
The battles that happen in the game are extremely close to the battles that happened in those locations that we dug information about and recreated.
When we set out to tell the story of a squad of soldiers from the squad level, we didn't start with D-Day, actually. All we started with was wanting to be a soldier at the squad level, to really understand that brotherhood between soldiers. So we studied war. Which squad should we talk about? Where do we begin?
It is a story about the paratroopers of the 101st Airborne Division who jumped behind enemy lines on D-Day. Now, our unit that we're featuring in this video game is the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division. And we're actually focusing on one squad. And this is a story based on history. It is a story based on true life, although Sergeant Matt Baker himself is a fictional character, is based on the true history of actual characters who fought in World War II and were actually from the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment.
These guys, these paratroopers, jumped behind enemy lines before the invasion to settle it. And their objective was to make the invasion possible and to make the invasion succeed. They had to knock out the beach defenses so that the guys could actually get onto the beach. They had to hold the flanks so that the German plan of driving that invasion force back into the sea when it happened would fail. The paratroopers, guys that had nothing but what they jumped out of the planes with, had to hold off Panzer tanks. It's amazing.
To create Brothers in Arms, Gearbox Studios spent a full year researching the D-Day invasion, perusing thousands of photographs, documents, and maps from the National Archives. The team then went to Normandy, to walk the battlefields that they would later virtually recreate.
A group of us took a trip to Normandy to take photo reference pictures. We had maps from the archives in Washington, so we knew what we were looking for, and we basically went through the same routes that the soldiers took and just photographed everything. Most of these maps that we are making are actual real farms, real neighborhoods, real cities that we walked through in Normandy and the battle happened inside of. It's really realistic.
Came the task of blending fiction with history.